Hey everyone, this will be a quick review and modding guide for the AoChuang V6 5x5. This cube costs $55 for the double track version, which is a little bit more than the Hong and a little less than the 562 matte version. Although I don't have a problem with this considering the competition, what does make it bad is how cheap the single track version is. The only difference between the single track UV and double track is corner to core magnets, yet MoYo is charging $25. In their 3x3s, they typically charge around $5 to $10, so that brings up the question of why this cube is so expensive, considering that core magnets are exactly the same in a 5x5 as in a 3x3. At the end of this video, I'll show you some options to get a double track version for cheaper if you have some spare MoYo cubes and are willing to do some modding. So for how this cube performed, it's really good. I was able to get my normal times within around 30 minutes of setting up the cube. I had to wipe out a lot of factory lube out of the box, but it was worth it since the factory lube is really bad. Cleaning out the cube and lubing it with Angstrom, Gravitas, and Dignitas help a lot with corner cutting, and the cube flows much better now. This cube is also very stable. I'm not sure if it's nearly as stable as the 562, but it definitely keeps its cube shape better than the Hong. I would also rank it in between those two cubes in terms of speed, and I have far fewer catches in this cube compared to either of them. The main reason why I prefer this cube over the 562 is the size. This cube seems to be slightly smaller than the Hong, making it really comfortable to cube with. I personally find the AoChuang V7 to be slightly smaller than the ideal 4x4 size, but I think that the AoChuang is the perfect size for a 5x5. In my opinion, this cube is a direct upgrade over the Hong with much better inner layers and similar outer layers, and it will be a better cube than the 562 for almost everybody, unless they find 62mm to be a better size. So now for the modding part of this cube. I would personally recommend that you use a 3D printed Ballcore yourself if you have access to a 3D printer, as that will be the easiest and cheapest option. I'll leave some files in the description that you could use with 3x1.5mm magnets. With these files, you'll need 24 magnets total. You can glue the core pieces into the core, then just push the magnets into the factory magnet slots in the corner pieces. No glue is needed for these because friction will hold the magnets in just fine. Also, make sure you use 2 magnets here so that you get a closer corner to core magnet attraction. However, you could take out one of the magnets if you find it to be too strong. If you don't have access to 3D printing, there's another funny solution. The Ballcore is actually the same core that's used in the RS3 line of cubes, so if you have a spare RS3 V5, RS3 Super, or Super V2 with a Ballcore that you don't use, you could actually just do a core and magnet swap to make it yourself. So to do it, just unscrew all the screws from each side of the cubes and then swap the cores with each other. For the corner magnets, you could use some flush cutters to cut them free from the RS3 corners, and then just friction fit them into the AoChuang corner slots just like before. I'd also suggest that you lube the core in this cube. Since you're going to be taking it apart anyway, you're not going to have to do much extra work to lube the core, and it'll help a bit with performance but also get rid of spring noise and prevent unnecessary wear to the core later down the line. Another thing to mention, many people have trouble removing the center caps from this cube, especially since stock tensions are really tight. The easiest way I found to remove them is to turn the slice by 45 degrees, then pry off the 4 caps on the slice with your fingernails. Once you loosen the tensions, it'll be easier to remove them later on. So overall, it does bother me that MoYo is charging so much for these cubes because the insane price difference shows that they're only charging these prices because they can given the price of competitors. The same applies to the AoChuang V7, but it's not nearly as bad since they're only charging $20 for core magnets. Overall, however, the AoChuang V6 is a really good cube, and I would recommend it to almost anybody, even if they're currently using a 562. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching this video.